Okay, give me a minute here. Gonna get things kind of set up because it's not exactly 6:30 yet. So give me a couple minutes. Um, Hold on one second. A couple of you guys type in some comments so I could see them here.
If you manage a team, you have to try Monday.com. Monday.com is a platform to track everything your team is doing.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Reggie. Okay, so it is 6:30. Welcome. I am still trying to figure out where I'm going to do my update videos and still kind of figuring out what kind of equipment I'm going to use. So bear with me. Uh, you know, it's going to take some time for me to figure this out, juggling everything. Reggie, what's up? Thank you. Taylor, Mid Nitrous Express, Tennessee, Texas. I want to go riding there. I love Texas and I love Tennessee. Okay, so for people that are going to watch this later, let me just give a breakdown exactly what we're going to talk about. That way, if you're not interested, you don't have to see my face and you don't have to hear me ramble on about stuff. So, we're going to talk about the update on the XR650R carburetor with the Mikuni thing, and I'll talk about that. We're going to talk about XR400. These were all questions that I got for the last 2 months over the summer, and I'm going to address them and give some tips on some things. We're going to talk about betas. I got a lot of questions on betas, the 450X, braking. We're going to talk about some new videos coming up, which I'm really pumped about. We're going to talk about adventure bikes. We're going to talk about Baja winter tours, and then we'll get to your guys' comments. So after I post this up and this ain't live anymore, I'm going to try to put the time things in there so you guys can skip to whatever you guys want to hear about. So first of all, thanks everybody for watching the videos. It's been a pleasure filming and showing another side of riding, and you know, for the most part, it's kind of developed even better. I've got a lot of compliments that the videos are just getting into a better realm of enjoyment, and I appreciate that. And we'll keep moving. Great sponsors by, you know, like LA Sleeve, STI, Dirt Bike Magazine, these guys, and the guys at Muck Off too. These companies have believed in this type of media and they think it can be consumed by people like you. So shout out to those guys, because this all kind of started from Baja Diaries 1 as a pitch to one of my clients for my marketing company. As you guys know, Berm Cannon is a marketing company I've been running for the last 19 years, mainly in the motorcycle business, or in the industries, motorsports. But now we're doing all kinds of other things in different industries. And it was a pitch to take care of one of my clients, and it now kind of turned into this, and it's great. And I can't be happier, because I didn't know this, but doing videos and telling stories in this fashion is enjoyable for me. So thank you for all you guys that watch and enjoy it, and all your comments and thumbs up. And it shows me that we're going in the right direction, and there's things to be coming that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But second thing, I just got done shooting a series of videos last week, and you know, so far the sponsors and people involved are just getting more excited. So it's going to be more good content for you guys to come. So with that being said, let's get right into the list of things. And the first thing we're going to talk about is this carb update that I kind of took on months before here summer. And Syntax, one of my followers, was the first one to start bugging me months ago. I mean, actually a couple years ago, when I first started getting the Dominator up and running. He wanted to know why I wasn't running a Mikuni carb, because he was running one, and I actually got a lot of feedback of people wanting me to run a Mikuni carb. So the funny thing is I didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but it just seemed like everybody on YouTube was doing this to their 650s, whether it's an L or an R. And it was in the back of my head, and I'm like, I just don't like messing with carburetors, because I've just had nightmare stories of when my older brother, who was also a you know, he was in the industry years ago, and you know, once your two-stroke got out of whack with jetting, there were guys that can handle jetting, and then there's guys like me who were just lost. Like, did I go 2 clips up, 2 clips down? How many? It was just a complete disaster. So as a kid, I just like, carbs, jetting. I don't want to deal with that. But after a while, I'm like, you know what? This could make the Dominator bitchin', and it could do, mainly, my main thing why I wanted to do it was the flame out that it would do when it would get hot, because down in Baja, it would run good for the first hour or two, but when that thing would get really hot, if I came into a corner too hot, it would flame out. Or if I dumped it, it would just flood, and then I'd sit there and be kicking it and have to do the whole regimen, hold the thing open, kick it through, and then do all that. And supposedly, you know, Syntax told me that it would eliminate all that. So I went ahead, got the carb. I worked with LA Sleeve, because they do that thing where they've do carb kits, do the jetting, but they never did the one for the XR 650. So we started down that road, and that shit just didn't work. And I think it was just a number of things, no experience. And what I found was a lot of guys were putting these things on and, you know, jetting them to a couple shops that already dial these things in and getting close. But with my stuff or with my carb, I put it on and I did the exact same jetting, and it wasn't working right. And I don't know, again, it's like rocket science with that stuff. So we worked through a couple different jetting settings, and I took it out for some testing, and it just seemed like it just didn't want to, it wasn't crisp. We got it along to where it was working a lot better than when I first put the carb on, but at this point today, the carb just ain't working up to my standards. I have a guy working on it right now. Shout out to you, Larry Lay. He has a lot of experience with jetting and that stuff, so he's gonna hopefully get this thing dialed in, and I will be back on the Dominator here probably in November. It feels good to say that. I'll be back on the Dominator here soon. So, so yeah, that's kind of what's going on with that carb thing. So right now, I can't give any advice. I had a bunch of guys telling me, "Hey, what's up? I want to put one on. Is it worth it?" And right now, I can't give any kind of do it or whatever, because right now, no, because I'm still working on the R&D part of it, and as soon as if I get that thing running to how I like it, then we'll do a video. I'll take it out and we'll go out and ride it, and I'll tell you the truth, whether it sucks or it doesn't. But so far, I'm still working on it. Okay, so here's the deal too. As you guys are watching, if you guys have questions on each one of these segments, I'll stop at each segment and I'll answer questions, and we'll move on to the next segment. That's how we'll work it. So, what's up, Patrick? It's in the needle taper and the exhaust packing. Not no joking. It could be, yeah. I mean, it's just again, I don't know anything, so I'm having somebody else dial it for me because my mind setting. I'm a racer. I'm not a mechanic, as you guys can tell. I'm not. I like to pin it to win it, and that's it. Okay, Taylor C4. Amateur Honda ran stock carbs all those years, right? American Honda. Yeah, according to Bob Bell, they ran stock carbs, and when I took my carb to Bob, they wanted to burn my bike down. They were so frustrated in they couldn't figure it out. It was popping. There's flames coming out of it, and they chose. Again, yeah. I mean, there's something there. The stock carb was the best. As far as their racing efforts with the 650 in the late 90s and the early 2000s there. So there's something that could be said for that. Yeah, you're right, Taylor. If it's good enough for them, it's probably good enough for me. But again, I just wanted to try it. I mean, there's videos out there with guys with the Mikuni on there. It's supposed to give it more. I will say this. I'll give you a little hint on what the carb does better than the Kian. It has more attack. So up and go, first, second, third, just clicking through the gears like bruh, bruh. It has more ramp up and more attack to it, but there is some flat spots in there, and I don't want to get into it because I don't want this video to be a carb tech video. It'll be really boring. Patrick, I have a stock carb on my 650R and pumper carb on my bored out 675L, and the 650R is still snappier. Yeah, I mean, it very could be. Again, it's good to hear that because I felt really bad talking to Syntax because he was all excited, like, "Hey, what happened? And how is it?" And I was like, it was like hard to report to him, and like, okay, I'm not really having luck. So it is what it is. We'll work through it. We'll try to figure it all out, and we'll go from there. So, okay, so moving on. The next thing we'll talk about is I got a question, and I forgot to write the names down, but I got a question on the XR400 and what to do to it to make it Baja savvy. And number one, the start of the Baja Diaries was on an XR400, and I think back to those days, and I really appreciated those days because I bought that bike for like $1,200. I put brand new tires on it. heavy duty tubes. I made sure the chain and sprockets were in good shape. I tightened the spokes, and that's it. And then I put my backpack on and I took my camera and I just started going. That's what's so cool about that XR400 or even the 650 for that matter. But that 400 is, it's just, that's a legendary bike too. So I would say, as long as you make that XR400, make the whole wheel drivetrain bulletproof, and make sure, you know, the motor's in good running, healthy condition, you're good to go. Now, to make it better, maybe a cam and a pipe. I wouldn't even play with, like, you know, now, if you wanted more power, maybe get that LA Sleeve XR, I think it's a 450 kit. Not sure. But if you go to LA Sleeve's website, they make a big bore for that. In fact, XR's only IMS and White Brothers sold tons of those kits back in the day. When Tom White was alive, he told me that that was like, besides the Banshee kit from LA Sleeve, the XR400 kit was one of their best sellers all time. So, yeah, there's things to do, but I mean, as far as taking that thing off and hot rodding it, it's not something that you want to do for Baja. It's the mule of Baja, the XR400. It's not the Jackrabbit. Okay. Okay. So here's a weird email I got, and I guess I could have blew it off, but I guess this was from a young man. He wants to start a channel, and he kind of wanted tips on how to get sponsors, maybe for his racing or for his channel. Kind of, you know, I don't know, stuff's expensive, and he's trying to get help. And I thought about it for a little bit, and the only thing I could think of is, first of all, the road to get attention from anything, whether you're a racer, and I have years of experience dealing with racers. You have to have people's attention, and the only way to get people's attention is either you're winning races or you're bringing attention to yourself on what you're doing. So if and I encourage this in some of my videos, is you guys that are out there going on these adventure rides and stuff, take a camera and start taking photography. You would be very surprised on how much you enjoy it, rather than just going out there, eating a granola bar, sipping water, talking with friends, and then going home. Documenting your rides is special. It's something to look at when you get home, and then years later. To be honest, I haven't watched the first Baja Diaries 1 through 10 in like 2 years. But when I do go back and watch them, there's little things I remember about that trip that I forget, and that's what's cool. It's the same thing with photography. You're taking those memories home, and oh, I got to write this down because I want to talk about a little special thing I'm going to be doing, but we'll get to that. So yeah, my suggestion is to start documenting your rides, and guys are doing it with YouTube. I mean, GoPros, but the GoPro thing is really kind of, who wants to just like be on the handlebars, and do that. And then once you do that, you'll start to get attention, and maybe people will fall in love with your adventures. And from that point, you can then go to people and go, hey, like, can I get help? But to be honest, there's really no money in what I'm doing, and you got to do it just because you like to tell stories, So that's my thing on that. Hey Wes, From Canada. What's up? Speaking of cameras, what are you using for equipment? Yeah, so cameras, I've had, back in the day, I've had expensive cameras. I've had cheap cameras, mainly for my business. But for these adventures and what you're seeing here, I use anything from the Canon T2i to the Canon A70 to the Canon uh, 50R we used a Nikon up in the High Sierra Diaries. That was episode 4 and 5. Freddie, a little shout out to you, Freddie, with your Nikon D, for whatever number that was. These cameras are more confusing with their number names, but yeah. So I use mostly that. I use all DJI drones right now. I'm using a Mavic and iPhone footage too. I use iPhone footage. I'm equipped with 2 GoPros too when I'm around. So I got a lot of equipment that I choose from, but I have always been a proponent and a fan of it's all in the editing, and the footage could be I've shot actually with cheap cameras, and it's all about the footage. I mean, the editing and the way you put it together as a story. But these guys, and I have tons of friends who have red cameras and all this other shit, and it's just a waste of money, and it's just not worth to bring a $10,000 or a $50,000 camera in the middle of Baja and just trash it. I mean, it's just not, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so there you go, Wes. That's what I use. Now, people have asked me to do like a whole video on my equipment. I'm not kind of into that yet, but we'll get to that. I have so much other stuff to shoot that we'll get to. Okay, yeah. So the typical editing stuff is just like Lightroom, anything Adobe, and Final Cut. Okay, so let's go on to beta bikes. Okay, so I've gotten 2 DMs on Instagram about betas, and they're just like, "Hey, are you gonna try one? Are you gonna take? What do you think?" And here's the thing about betas. There was a time, and maybe some of you guys know, that it was we were all riding Yamahas and Hondas, and then there was this group, like in the 90s, there was this group riding KTMs, and everybody was just like, whoa, and the guys who were buying those are the guys who are like, we're fancy, we're special. They always had their KTM, bikes. What color were they? I think they were white back then. So I remember white bikes. Everything was 2 strokes back then. Hey, the dude, what's up? Nice seeing you again. So yeah, the KTMs were like this special brand that all like your friend with the money, like he had to be different, so he went and got a KTM, and all of us were like riding Hondas and Yamahas, and it was just hilarious. So the reason I'm thinking about betas this way is because now KTM is like a mainstream brand, and they're pretty much dominated. They sell, as far as the numbers that I've gotten from my magazine friends, they're the #1 selling motorcycle in North America. Okay, they've killed the Japanese. They've killed them at their own game. They won, and now the guys who used to ride KTMs and feel special, well, now there's a new brand, and it's beta. And I've noticed on social media, guys are buying these betas and they're drooling over them. And here's my thing with them is if I lose a nut, can I get that nut in the next city? And when I do go get that nut, is it going to cost me $80? Because I have to also buy the tool to take the nut out. Now, I don't know anything about betas. I've seen them. I've stood in front of them. I haven't checked them up and down. I haven't ridden them. So I'm just assuming that it is I get, what is it? Are they Italian? Yeah, they're Italian. So, I don't, I'm assuming that, you know, they're on their way and they're gonna put more dealers everywhere. So that was like my thing is I just don't want to buy a bike that's gonna be like hard to get parts, expensive to get parts. Now, will I try one? Yeah, absolutely. And there might be one down the line here somewhere sometime, but will I take one to Baja? Probably not right now. um, so there you go. I mean, no judging. I mean, I think that it's cool. Beta's cool, but that's how I think of it right now. Just like back in the '90s, KTM's were like, well, I don't know if I'll take that on the 2-day ride. I'll just take my trusty old like YZ250. So there you go with that. Um, okay, so moving on. This one came from an email, and he wanted to know how to beef up his XR650 front rotor or brakes in general. And he saw that I'm running Galfers and wave rotors, and he wanted to know if I'm running an oversized wave rotor. The answer is no, and I'm still trying to find the actual Dirt Bike Magazine article on my 650 that had all the parts and things done to it. Just to like for you guys to look at online. I'll have to get that. But no, what I ran was their standard size front wave rotor Galfer, and I also have a rear wave rotor on the back, and the braking is amazing. And I'm also running AP brakes on the back. So yeah, call Galfer and tell him you saw the Dominator on the Berm Cannon channel, and you want a wave rotor. And then if you want the NASCAR brake pads, you can call Ellie Sleeve and get the AP brakes, the brake pads. So that's what I'm running. Oh, and I'm also running too AP's brake fluid, which you can't get in the United States. It's only sold in Europe because it has the highest boiling point over any brand sold in the United States. Because the AP company in Europe, they strictly deal with Formula One and MotoGP. And I got a bottle of their brake fluid, and it just won't get hot and boil. You always have fresh brakes. So, okay, this is a good time. Wes, what's up? DRZ 400s for Baja. The DRZ is like it's like a Sherman tank, and they're everywhere still. There's tons of them out there, and I see no difference besides yellow plastics between the DRZ 400 and the XR 400. I think the DRZ has more options. Some of them have electric start and stuff, but yeah, DRZs are badass. And I just haven't, where I'm at in SoCal, I haven't seen those, but trekking around, and I've seen actually a couple of them in Baja as well. So they're good to go. If you got one, it's a Baja bike, definitely. Okay. All right, this next question is actually a good question because it's about the Honda Sierra 450X. And it seems like on the Berm Cannon channel, the Baja Diaries and the High Sierra Diaries, the 450X kind of has been not talked about and kind of been put away or just like not brought up. And finally, I got a question. And the guy's like, "Hey, like, you did the 450L, you rode that, you did a review on that, but there was like no 450X. So where does the 450X lie in your opinion, and give your thoughts on that?" So we can go down a wormhole with this one, but Honda is let's just say they're now catching up. They see KTM with a big catalog of bikes, and now they're going to basically be like, okay, we're going to make some bikes here. To be very honest, when I rode that 450L, I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, I wouldn't buy an X now. And here's why. The X is not plated, and the 450L did everything that I think an X would do anyways. The only thing better was I could ride the L on the street and go wherever I want. Baja, across the border, get on the 660 freeway here, ride to LA. The X, it would be just like for the desert. And the way things are going here in California, it's kind of like, that's all it's really hard to kind of load your truck up and drive an hour to the desert to go ride. So I don't know. I could the 450X be the next 650R where they'll just stop making them? I don't know. But I don't. It's weird, but that's kind of like my thought on it. But as far as his other question was, what about the 450X for Baja? That is the Baja bike. In Honda's mind, and a lot of guys' minds, some of the tour companies down there, they all run X's. The problem is with them is they're expensive when they break. So if you're going across El Diablo dry lake bed and you throw a rod or you throw a valve or something, that's like $2,000 in work, and so yeah, so that would be the only hindrance. But I would say the last 5 years, that's all I see down there is X's. And so that is the Baja bike. And for desert racing, the Hare and Hounds, the guy like Mark Samuels and those guys were all running X's, and they race them, and they're great. So that's kind of like my opinion on that. Okay, Taylor, 450X, son of the Dominator, won Baja more than the XR. Yeah, you're right. You are correct. Yeah, but the son doesn't get the legacy as the father. Okay, so Patrick. So if you had a bored out 675L and a non-plated 650R here in California, would you sell the XRR and get the 450L? Or would you risk it without state plates? If you're asking me if I had a choice between a 650L plated and a non-plated XR 650, wait, I'm trying. Let me see if would you sell the XR and get it? Well, this is gonna hurt your feelings, Patrick, but I have right now a plate. My 650 is plated, but I hate to tell you, if I had to choose between those two, for my main bike, it'd be the 450L. Now Baja, I would take the 650 mainly for reliability. I don't have to worry about the battery, and oil consumption. There's plenty of oil in the 650 over the 450. So that 650 still holds the Baja crown. Oh, and that brings up another thing for Taylor, because yes, the 450X wins Baja races, and that is true. But as far as when you run into guys down there and you talk about what bike is the best for adventuring down there, the 650 just doesn't break. And it dominates the adventure class, and at one time it dominated the racing class. So the 450X, it doesn't have that longevity as far as taking it for 1,000 miles in like a week and then coming back. You know, you've got to change oil on those X's a lot. In fact, I think the race team changes oil maybe during those races too. So, yeah, Taylor, hoping my Dominator Junior can hold a candle to Big Daddy XR. Yeah. You know, and this conversation is something that all of us we've been having with each other. This Honda, there is room. Honda needs to make a new EFI XR 700 or 650, make a new one and redesigned. There is rumor that they're making something for Europe first next year, but I guarantee you it's going to be an African Twin Junior. It's going to be an 800 African Twin. But if it was a 650, whew, I'd buy two of them. I'd buy two of them. So, okay, the 450X, yes, that's a good bike. Okay, so let's talk about upcoming videos, and this is kind of a fun topic. I'm going to, right now, if you guys have watched all the videos, and hopefully all you guys have subscribed to the channel, we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and it's very hard. YouTube is not sending my videos to people, and we're doing the best we can to get that bumped up. But the reason I need to get to 10,000 is because I can use more tools that YouTube gives us YouTubers, and I can communicate and do more cooler stuff on YouTube. So that's why we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and then the bell, and then you'll be notified whenever I do stuff on here. It is the main platform of this. Instagram is for the photography and just kind of like the behind the scenes just stuff. If you guys follow me on the stories, I sometimes will post little tidbits of the trips. But this is like the main thing that I want to like concentrate on is the YouTube following. So, so that being said, if you've watched the videos, the High Sierra Diaries, we started in Kern, and Kern, I'll tell you guys like right now, Kern is an amazing place to go riding. If you don't have a dual sport, you can ride green sticker bikes. It is an amazing place. You can stay in Kernville. You've seen those in the videos. You can unload, ride up one of the roads, and then get on a trail. The Canal Trail or Canal Trail, however you pronounce it, is an ass kicker, especially when it's hot. And then there's just so much stuff to do. You can leave your family in that town. They can go to the river for the day. You can go riding with a buddy or whatever. And it's such a cool place that even if you're north in California, or you're in the surrounding states of like Nevada or Arizona, it's a great place to come spend the weekend and ride. And the Rangers told me it was huge in the 90s, but since, you know, the last 10 years, it's kind of dropped off. So they were really pumped that I was doing a profile and showcasing Kernville, and that was really cool to hear that from them. Yeah, so that, I mean, it's bitching. So if you guys can get up there. But anyways, now that we are done with Kern and we've kind of did the Kennedy Meadows up there. And by the way, there's so much that I didn't film up there. It's not even funny. There's so many trails that I wanted to go down, or I did go down, and my memory cards on my cameras were all filled, my batteries were all dead. Um, it just I couldn't do it all. So I'll leave it up to you guys to go up there and see the rest of it. But there's probably weeks, if not months, of exploring up there. And then again, using Kernville as a base is just awesome. So the next plan was to get on, now start showcasing Lone Pine, Independence, up to Bishop, and then on to Mammoth, the Eastern Sierras, which is a lot of desert. There's creeks, there's stuff like that. And that was the next plan. But I had something that came up and presented itself, and I jumped on it, and it's awesome because I had to jump ahead. So I'm just going to go ahead and release the videos because at the end of all this, it's not going to matter anyways. And so last week, me and Hacienda Gabe flew up to Reno, and we shot Virginia City, the Eastern Sierras up there, up north, into Lake Tahoe. Can't think of some of the cities. South Lake Tahoe, then on into all that forest up there. And we shot all that last week, and this week I'll be putting those videos together. So next week you're gonna get a whole new set of scenery, and I'm gonna be on, me and Hacienda Gabe are gonna be on two different bikes. So you guys will be surprised with that. But I mean, now that I'm jumping into this High Sierra thing, it's just very vast, kind of overwhelming as far as trails and what to see, landmarks, and visually just stunning, just great. This is why everybody's moving to California, because of this kind of stuff, and you guys have seen that on the videos. So, okay, so here's some questions. Yeah, hey KT. Just to, yeah, I should do a better job on the trails, but to be, I should. I actually, I should do that. It's just hard. There's so much stuff to do when I go up there and shoot. I'll start making notes. I'll try to do that. But for Kernville, like I stated in the videos, and I left links at the bottom of those videos, just go to the ranger station in Kernville. It's a big, beautiful ranger station. You just grab one of those big maps, and it has every trail that I went on. And if not, you can also visit Friends of Jawbone, which I left a link in there too, which they sell maps. And there's maps, all those trails, all up into the Kern, into the Sequoias. And I did it that way just because I want riders to go into the ranger stations, and you know, that's the best bet than me just finding a trail and then writing it down, then putting it on a video, and then finding out later that it's not actually legal to ride on. So go back and check those links out. And if you're from SoCal and you want to go ride up there, I'm telling you, it's really easy. Again, Friends of Jawbone, or go to that ranger station and get a waterproof map. I carried that map around for like 2 weeks, and it was like, it showed me everywhere I needed to go. Yeah, so I don't know, Patrick, about camping on the lake with your bike. I don't know. I think you can, because those are camp spots. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what you're getting at right there. Yeah, 9 Mile Road, north of Kennedy Meadows. Yep, that's another good one. Again, I was up there. There was times I found myself rushing myself through some of these things, and I'm like, I just can't showcase. I can't showcase all of it. It's just virtually impossible. Oh, Taylor, the camping, but it's awesome. Just don't go on major holiday weekends or anything like that, or on hot. Like if you're gonna camp in Kern, I would kind of be prepared for like 100-degree heat. But up towards Limestone and Johnsondale, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, or there's the motels that I did. I chose not to camp because it was hot, and it was nothing like coming back from a ride and getting AC. So, oh, the dude, yeah, you're building the Raiders stadium. That's cool. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm riding the Chiefs bandwagon, but I'm loving the Raiders too. I actually was a Raiders fan when I was a kid, but I left the Raiders because Al Davis was a dick and he didn't play Marcus Allen, so I left. Okay. Yeah, Taylor, yeah, you can camp in town. There's plenty of like easy campgrounds in there, and then there's like the state-run campgrounds up the river as well. Taylor, yeah, Texas, your heat is not like ours. You guys are on another level for sure. Um, so yeah, there you go with that section. Oh, okay, so we have those videos next week, and then Wednesday, this Wednesday, I'm kind of gonna. I tried to start doing some surf trip videos. That didn't work out. A couple guys that I wanted to go with me to do that couldn't go. So I'm going to keep working on that. But one video I've been trying to do is a Baja Diaries, how to do Baja without bikes. I had a lot of 4 by guys who follow me, and they're like, I'm either too old or I don't have a bike anymore, but I got a Jeep. What's the best way to do that? So that video will be dropping Wednesday, and I'll be talking about if you have a family and you want to take your family and get in your truck and go to Baja, it's very doable. And there, again, I'm not gonna. The elephant in the room is Baja safe? And to be honest, it is. It's very safe down there. I think that the news right now, and we all can agree that the news ain't making money if they're not creating stories. And as for Baja, I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, the people are great down there. It's a great place for vacation, and as long as you go down there with joy and a sense of adventure and a good behavior, then it'll be great. And you use some wisdom, like Baja George says, use wisdom. Like your mom, like you're taking your mom down there, and don't do anything that your mom wouldn't want you to do, and everything should be good. But yeah, so the video is Wednesday, and I kind of just, it's a little, not too technical, but basically talking like you just need insurance. Make sure your wheels and your tires are good, just like on a bike, or you got a good vehicle that's reliable, and load up your family, get Mexican insurance, Baja bound, that's who I use, and just go down there. Take a map. You get phone coverage in on a lot of the highways, so you'll be good there. It's not like on a bike where you're out in the middle of nowhere and you got no reception. And we had a good time. We took boogie boards, fishing poles, and we stopped in Ensenada at the fish market, and we got some fish, and we took a barbecuer, a couple ice chests, and spent the day on the beach over there in Arandaria. and the kids had a great time. And then we came back the next day and it was good, you know. So yeah, those are the videos. I also, if you guys didn't see, I finally talk about the KTM 500 EXC. That's a great bike, and I'll probably be doing, hopefully be doing more KTM stuff coming up here in the future. So that's cool. Okay, so the next thing is these Baja tours that I've been doing. I did a few of them here over the summer, and we'll talk about a little bit about, because now this would be the ideal time to go to Baja. Summer is really hot, and usually the fall and the spring are good times to go. The weather is real mild, and it's just, that's the time to go. Or winter's good too. It's not like it snows down there, but it does get cold. So just to, if you're interested and you have friends that want to go, hit me up, send it to sender@Berm Cannon. Tell me, you know, how many guys in your group. I'm charging right now, just to let you know, for like 3 days, like a 3-4 day weekend trip is like $485, $550. And what that gets you is everything you need to lead your group down there. You get GPS, you get all the places to stay, all the places to stop, and I kind of just set you up so you're ready to go, and you and your buddies do it. And whether you're on a truck or you're taking bikes, you know. And I've had guys ask me if I want to like ride with them or do tours. Right now I just can't. I'm just too busy with work and stuff to do, and it's hard to like get away. I have did it, but those guys have paid. They've like, you know, kind of forced my hand, but the consulting part is actually good, because then you just go with your buddies, and you have everything you need to do your own Baja diaries. Yeah, so Taylor, obviously, well, yeah, I don't, maybe I just saw these, but yeah, as far as the surf stuff too, I mean, I'm still trying to put a set of videos together with that, because I have a lot of surfers that are on here, and my guys that I wanted to take to make the videos special, they couldn't go. So we'll get to that, and I think that'll be a cool video. So yeah, and let's see here. So we'll talk about photography. I'm a little excited about this because I have, since like 2000, I started collecting photos and all that garbage. I probably have like 30,000 photos from over the years. And you know, it was cool when Instagram came out, because I like thought like, oh, I can like finally put these cool pictures up on this platform. Well, now Instagram's just become a click show, and I've kind of just like lost interest in all that. Not that you don't see all the good pictures, but I have been kind of going down this road where I was thinking that I am going to print some of my what I think my best shots from the Baja Diaries and the High Sierra Diaries and Urbanized, and you know, basically frame them, art them, just make them look really bitchin'. So I'm not selling them. I'm going to make them first and then show you guys, maybe on a video we'll do it, and once I get it hung on the wall. But there's some photos that I'm like, they're like really awesome. And these photos usually, just when I get back from trips, I have a couple hundred photos, and I'm going through them, and I'm like, wow, like, again, and that's why I told you at the beginning of this live, was when you're going on rides with your buddies and going like new places, get a camera, take it, and start learning how to, like, you know, be somewhat of a photographer. You don't have to be really good, but the cool thing is when you get back home, it's like the best thing to hang in your garage or like where your bikes are. Because look at it, like we've all had posters of Jeremy McGrath and all that other shit on our walls in the garage, and that stuff just gets old and then falls down and it's whatever. Not hating on that. So if you have all that, that's cool. But I was just thinking, what it would be cool to have, like, if you had to pick maybe 4 or 5 of the best visions you had on some of the best rides you had in your life, put those on the wall and how that would feel, you know. And I think, because I have one actually, it's over there. Here, let me show you. So this one right here, I don't know if you could see this, but so this is in Baja right here. See that? And this thing is just awesome. I've already gotten one from somebody that came here the other day. They're like, "Where is that? That's cool." That's Baja right there. That is San. Where's this at? This is no. Is this San Quintin? Yeah, San Quintin. So I took that, and when I got home, I saw this. I was like, this thing's badass. So this is what I hang in my office. And so I just think that if we, all of us, if we like pick better pictures from like our rides and like get them framed. But anyways, that one's nothing like the one I'm getting done right now. I can't wait to show you guys. So I'll do a video on it and we'll talk about the photo and what it means to me and everything. And that'll be something cool to share with you guys as it comes up. Okay, so what else have we got here? We got, we have, oh, the store. So the way and thank you guys for some of you that have bought in shirts. I've sold tons of shirts. I'm still trying to nail down the perfect hat, trucker hat. I think the hats just are better. They last longer. So I'm working on that. If any of you guys are designers and you think there should be a cool Baja Designs shirt or hat, send me an email. Let me know if you guys are actual designers out there that you guys do stuff. I'm open to, you know, something cool. It gets kind of hectic around here and it kind of gets hard to like sit down and actually conceptualize stuff. So I figured might as well ask my followers. Maybe there's like something that would be cool on a shirt for like a Baja Diary shirt or something like that. And then we will talk about another thing. I got an email on adventure bikes. And you guys know that I make fun of them. I call them refrigerators with wheels. And yeah, so here's the deal with adventure bikes. For what I'm doing, normally, they kind of don't fit what I do, but now what I'm doing with the High Sierra Diaries, they kind of do. And for upcoming videos, we're probably going to have to tap into adventure bikes. And all that crap talking I was doing, I can't wait to hear you guys bust my balls on that. But you know what? That's what makes my channel fun, right? I could just talk smack on certain bikes and stuff, and then 2 months later go, hey, that was great. I like that. And you guys can be like, oh gosh, like this guy is full of shit. What do we got here? 450L Vortex exhaust or KTM 500 uncorked. That's interesting because I've been getting a lot of that. Okay, let me establish something right now. The 450L plugged up, I'm fine with it. and I'm a racer and I like to go fast. That bike stock hauls ass. But again, a lot of guys are uncorking them and they're making them louder and more torque and all that. That's cool. Um, that's tough. That's tough to see whether the 450L is more badass uncorked than the 500 KTM. Um, I do want to say that the KTM corked was faster than the 450L corked. I will say that. But yeah, I know. What's that guy on Instagram? He has an uncorked 450L. But for what I'm doing, it's when you're riding those things all day, the noise can get to you, or maybe it doesn't. So I don't know. I mean, the 650 is loud, and I'm fine with that. But it's kind of nice having a quiet bike up in the forest, and you know. Silhouette of Eastwood in white on a black trucker hat. Yeah, that'll all look good. Make me a design, Wes. I'm all for it. Adventure bike, just get a 650L. Reggie, the 650L. Somehow, how they're still making that, I don't know. But again, there's guys with 650Ls that are just like diehards. I'm assuming you have one, but if I had to pick between a 650L or my 650R, I'd take the R all day. But yeah, we're gonna talk about adventure bikes for sure because that's coming down the pipe, and so okay, so that does it. We killed an hour. We're just over 62 minutes. And thanks for watching again, guys. And we'll do another one. I didn't do any of these update shows all summer, but hopefully we'll try to do one a month and just send me your guys' questions and concerns and ideas, and we'll talk them out. And I appreciate all you guys that came tonight to chat it out, and it's cool. So if there is no more questions, we will see you Wednesday with the Baja Diaries Family Edition. And if not, then we will see you next week when the Lake Tahoe High Sierra Diaries starts popping off. So again, tell your friends about the channel. The more subscribers, the better. And it'll just make things better for us in making adventure videos for you guys. Okay, all right. We'll see you guys. Thank you, and have a good night.